What is good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Raider Alex back with yet another video for you guys. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, let's jump right into the topic of this video. Week 8 preview: the Las Vegas Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs. The 2-5 Raiders are gearing up to host the 6-0 Kansas City Chiefs in an AFC West showdown, a rivalry matchup. I understand the season has not gone the way we wanted to, but I still get hyped up for these games, these rivalry matchups. And if we were able to win another game, I would want it to be against the Kansas City Chiefs, especially here at Allegiant Stadium. Patrick Mahomes is undefeated at Allegiant Stadium, so at some point, man, we got to get that monkey off our back and beat that motherfucker at home. And if there was ever a time to catch the Kansas City Chiefs slipping, it might just be now. Being 6-0, going against a Raiders team that statistically and just judging off of our record, we're one of the worst teams in the National Football League. So let's just get into it though. One thing that the Raiders are going to have to watch out for is the blitz, because the Kansas City Chiefs defense, they're definitely going to bring the heat. They are ranked 7th highest rate in the National Football League when it comes to dialing up blitzes. Their defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, he's always been known as an aggressive DC, and I think he's gonna bring the pressure on us and try to force Gardner Minshew to throw an interception. And really, this could spell trouble for Gardner Minshew and this Raiders offensive line in general, which this offense in general has had their fair share of struggles this season. Gardner Minshew has been very prone to turnovers with 8 interceptions over 6 games. The offensive line has not been great. So this is something that the Raiders are going to have to find a way to combat. They're going to have a counter to this blitz. Minshew cannot afford to turn the football over. And usually the best way to combat the blitz is you're going to have to hit them down the field or across the middle, make them pay for bringing the extra guys to get after the quarterback. But this definitely scares me because Minshew has been reckless with the football, and that's the one thing in this game. If we turn the football over, if we give Patrick Mahomes and this Kansas City offense great field position, we're not going to win this one. So we're going to have to find a way to limit turnovers in this one. Another thing too that spells pretty difficult for the Raiders is the fact that our rushing attack has been a clear weak point all season long. And unfortunately for us, that Kansas City Chiefs defense are very stout against the run. They're actually the second best team in the league when it comes to that department, only giving up 3.3 yards per carry. So that's going to be a super tough challenge for an already struggling ground game here with the Raiders. Now, one thing that could be interesting is that the Raiders sign quarterback Desmond Ridder. Now, Gardner Minshew is going to get the start, but would it be possible that maybe in like short yardage situation or in goal line situations, do they risk it and potentially put a Desmond Ridder out there who is a really good athlete at the quarterback position and has shown he can tuck it and run it himself, where you can use him in like read options? Something to keep into consideration. But somehow, some way, the Raiders are going to have to find a way to run the football effectively. Last week was our best week when it comes to running the football. Alexander Madison had about 93 yards on the ground, but I will say that was going against the Los Angeles Rams defense, who was one of the worst defenses when it came to stopping the run. So it's going to be difficult, no doubt, but we have to find a way to at least, get our starting running back to get like 50, 60 yards on the ground. Once again, I do not think this offense is built to be behind the sticks and to be consistently in third and long situations. So we're going to have to find a way to run the rock. Now, jump into the Kansas City Chiefs offense. One thing I think we've all kind of noticed with the Chiefs this season on the offensive side of the football is that Patrick Mahomes does not seem the same this year. For once, I'm not feeling super anxious about going against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has looked like a human out there this season. Not like in years past where sometimes it's like, man, this guy's coming in here red hot, that electrifying passer down the football field. And this season, you look at his stats, 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, which are numbers that are similar to Gardner Minshew, but the biggest difference is They have one of the best defenses in the league, and ultimately they're 6-0, so they're not going to be too worried about that. But he hasn't been that unstoppable force that we've been used to seeing. Travis Kelce has started off the season slow as well, which gives me some hope that the Raiders could do a good job on the defensive side of the football, neutralizing this offense and hopefully forcing the Kansas City Chiefs offense to a mistake or two. The Raiders defense was rock solid last week, holding quarterback Matthew Stafford to 150 yards and able to get an interception on him. If we can bring that type of energy to this game, if we can slow down Mahomes, he's coming off of a bad game as well, like about 150 yards, 2 interceptions against the 49ers. If we can continue that type of success on defense, and most importantly, if we can make them turn the football over, then the Raiders could have a shot in this one. And also too, we're going to have to find a way to stop the run, which is another department where the Raiders have not been good this season. And one thing that the Chiefs offense has shown this season is if they have to rely heavily on the run game, if they don't have to throw the football too many times, that's what they'll do. They'll do whatever it takes to try to get the victory. But overall, analyzing this matchup as a Raiders fan, I mean, there's no doubt we're huge underdogs with a huge point to prove. You could argue this season is essentially over when it comes to trying to make the playoffs. But look, I still think the way the Raiders come out in this game will show a lot about the future of Antonio Pierce, because even if you don't make the playoffs this season, even if you're one of the worst teams in football, there's ways to lose games. And there's just been a lot of games this season where it's just like, man, the Raiders are just not competitive. They don't look like a united football team at times, and at times it's just really been ugly football. Very bad football to watch, very boring football, to be honest with you. So I really want the Raiders to come out in this game super motivated, ready to go out there and completely brawl and get after it. I also want to see this team get aggressive out there. Luke Getsy needs to open up the playbook. I'm tired of seeing very conservative play calling. I'm tired of seeing us running the football on 3rd and long. Like, look, we're 2-5. The Chiefs are 6-0. Let's open up the playbook. Let's try to make things happen down the football field. Now, obviously, like I said, we don't want to turn the football over, but we want to give ourselves a shot. We're not going to beat this team being super conservative and trying to dink and dunk our way the entire football game. Let's get some deep shots to Trey Tucker. And ultimately, I want to see this football team go out there with nothing to lose type of mentality, because really that's the case here. The odds are stacked up against us, but Antonio Pierce isn't letting that affect the team's mindset. He made it clear that this is just not another game when asked about this. Take a listen.
It's like, how do you balance telling the team this is important, it's a big game, but it's also just another game? I mean, like, how do you...
It's not another game. It's a rivalry game. It's the team in red.
So I definitely agree with Antonio Pierce. I mean, this is just not another regular season game. The AFC West divisional games, and most importantly against the Chiefs, man, to me, that's my most hated rival in the division. Those type of games, you have to play those differently. You have to go in with a mindset and an attitude in this week. It's Chiefs week, it's the team in red, and you have to come in prepared and ready to do whatever it takes to try to get the victory. So I like that message from Antonio Pierce. And ultimately, the Raiders, if they want to win this one, they have to have the mental edge in this standpoint. They have to want it more than the Chiefs, because this could also be a potential trap game for the Chiefs. They're 6-0. They're probably all thinking they're going to take care of business, go 7-0. They're riding high as an undefeated football team while we're at the bottom of the standings. But what we got to remember is the last time anybody was able to take down the Chiefs, that was us on Christmas Day last season. And at the end of the day, this is the NFL. Anything can happen. If the Raiders come motivated, if they come focused, and they leave it all out on the football field, and they also play to try to win the game and not to lose the game, especially from a play calling standpoint, they could have a shot. Now, realistically though, I'm always a guy that leans towards the probabilities, and I think the Raiders are going to lose this one, but I also thought the Raiders were for sure going to lose against Baltimore in week 2, and look what happened in that one. I mean, if the Raiders went out there and somehow beat the Chiefs, I mean, that would be the most Raider thing ever to do. you beat a great team like the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens, but then you lose against like the shittier teams. For whatever reason, the Raiders tend to do that. They tend to play up to the level of competition. So I don't necessarily completely count them out. And like I said, it is the NFL. Anything can happen. But really just going into this football game, I'm really more concerned about us as a football team and our glaring issues. I am really more worried about us as a football team than I am scared, I guess you could say, of the Kansas City Chiefs. Like I said, the Chiefs are 6-0. You have to respect that. Back-to-back Super Bowl champions. They have found a way to get the job done week in and week out this season. But to me, they are a very beatable team. They're not this juggernaut. Mahomes has been struggling. And we do have the blueprint to beat Kansas City like we did last season. You're going to have to get after Mahomes. You're going to have to get turnovers. Now, obviously, that's a lot easier said than done. But let's just see what happens tomorrow. Regardless of the outcome, I want to see the Raiders come out and fight in this game and legitimately compete against the best team in football right now. But Raider Nation, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think there's a chance the Raiders could upset in this one? Or do you think Kansas City is going to run away with this one? Let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that's all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.